Hi, it's Connecticut personal injury attorney Ryan McKeen here. Today I'm here with attorney Betsy Ingraham.
Hi.
Hi Betsy, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ryan. How are you?
Good. And today we're going to talk about concussions after a car accident in Connecticut. And Betsy, can you tell us first what a concussion is?
So a concussion is what we call a closed head injury, when you have a blow to the head that causes the brain to shift inside the skull in such a way that it bounces against the inside of the skull and causes a brain injury.
And do you have to pass out or suffer loss of consciousness to have suffered a concussion?
Absolutely not. No. You tend to associate concussions with losing consciousness, but you can have one where you didn't even strike your head. You can get a concussion just from getting severe whiplash because the motion of your head going back and forth is what causes the brain to bounce against the skull.
And what are some of the common symptoms that one may have if they have a concussion?
There's a wide range of symptoms. Fatigue, foggy feeling, slowed down thinking, inability to find words, light sensitivity, noise sensitivity, irritability, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough. Anything that's really a cognitive change that is off for you is something that can be a symptom of a brain injury.
And what we see a lot is that somebody, they go to the hospital and they get checked out and in the emergency room. And really what the emergency room is looking to do is to see whether or not you are dying or need immediate surgery or some massive medical intervention. And short of that, they may do an x-ray, they may do an MRI, they may do a CAT scan, they may do some other testing, but fundamentally they give you Tylenol and they send you home.
Right.
And so I handle intakes for a Connecticut trial firm, and that's when a lot of folks, they get diagnosed with a concussion in the emergency room, and they get told to take some Tylenol, and they get a printout from the emergency room about some facts about a concussion, and there's no further treatment. So if somebody is in that situation where they've been diagnosed with a concussion, they're having some symptoms after the hospital, what should they do?
Go see your primary care provider. That's the first thing you should do. You want to make sure that you have the symptoms of your concussion documented. And this is important because if you have the symptoms documented, then your doctors in the future can see when they look back what it is that you were experiencing and when. So you want to make sure after you go to the ER, if it's 1 or 2 days later and you're still having symptoms, definitely go to your primary care provider and get that documented. The other thing your primary care provider will be able to do for you is to tell you when to follow up with them on regular intervals. Most concussions get better. They get better over a period of weeks. But it's important for you to see your primary care provider so they can document how you're progressing. Are you getting better on the expected timeline, or are you not getting better? And if you're not getting better, your primary care provider will be able to refer you to a concussion specialist who can take it from there.
And say somebody, a lot of folks, they may not even have primary care providers anymore. Would it be okay to go to, say, an urgent care?
Absolutely. You could definitely go to an urgent care and get that documented. If you are working with a personal injury attorney, that attorney can probably help you, point you in the direction of a doctor that might be appropriate to help you. So you can always reach out to your attorney as well and see if they have any recommendations for you.
Now, what kind of doctors might have to get involved beyond your primary care doctor or your urgent care?
So there are specialists in concussion. There are what we call concussion clinics that works with a multidisciplinary team of different types of doctors. And one of those would probably be a neurologist. A neurologist is a doctor of the brain. They look structurally at what's going on in the brain and how the brain is functioning, and they would be important to have on your team. The other people that might get involved are therapists. You could have what's called occupational therapy. You could have vestibular therapy, which is when that works with balance, if you're having balance issues. You can even have therapy for your vision, if you're having problems with your vision as a result of the concussion. So there are different types of specialty therapies that you can receive if you're having ongoing problems.
And I think that raises a really important point, because a lot of people I talk to, they get a concussion, and look, you break your arm, they can put it in a sling, they can operate, they can put a pin in, or they can give you, Tylenol for your pain. But for the brain, they're not going to do surgery on a concussion, most likely. They're not going to they may not give you any medicine. So I think sometimes people feel hopeless, like there aren't things that can't be done, so why bother trying? Like I'm I'm suffering with fatigue. I know I'm not myself. And so I think that I mean, have you seen people have good outcomes when they have the proper therapists in place?
Absolutely. The therapies can be very helpful in terms of helping you get past some of these concussion symptoms. And the doctors that are working in the concussion clinics also have medication that they can prescribe to you on a short-term basis if you're having headaches for pain, for example, or even for that foggy feeling. They can help give you something to help sharpen you and make you feel more focused until you get past the initial stages of the concussion.
And Betsy, do you have experience handling concussion cases after car accidents in
Absolutely.
Connecticut?
Yes, I've handled many brain injury and concussion cases after car collisions, and I have a network of providers that we have worked with and seen our clients work successfully with in the past that can help you get through this.
And so if somebody was looking to hire you or to speak with you, if they have a question, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
So you can email me at Betsy, Betsy, at cttrialfirm.com, or call the office at 860-471-8333.
And we'll put all that contact information for you in the beneath this video, so you can reach out to Betsy. But I think you've touched on a number of important things of what people can do after they're in a car accident and they've suffered a concussion, and really where to look for some help, and that there is help.
There is help.